Part C, we're given that y equals g of x is a particular solution to this differential equation. And we're given that it goes to the point -1, 2. And we want to find this limit. Now, this limit is basically sort of a trick to get us to do L'Hopital's rule. And we can see that because we know that the limit as x approaches -1 of g of x minus 2 is going to be 0 because g is approaching 2. And we also know that the limit as x approaches -1 of 3x plus 1 squared is 0. So when we have a case where we're approaching 0 over 0, I can use L'Hopital's rule, take the derivative of the numerator and take the derivative of the denominator, and then see if that evaluates better. So that means that this will equal the limit as x approaches -1 of g prime of x over, and this one I guess I'll just do chain rule here. So we have 3 times 2 x plus 1 to the first times 1, because derivative of the inner. I could have done that a little bit quicker, and we will end up getting the limit as x approaches -1 of g prime is going to be this, because if y equals g of x is a particular solution, then dy dx is g prime of x. So I end up with x squared minus 1/2 y all over 6. I'll expand this out to 6x plus 6. Now, a few ways I can see this. So when g is -1, I'm still dividing by 0. That's still approaching 0. And when x is -1, g is 2. So I get 1 minus 1/2 times 2. That's still approaching 0 as well. It's also worth noting that y is equal to g of x. So in here, this is the same as x squared minus 1/2 g of x. But what this means is I can take the derivative again, just continue with L'Hopital's rule, and at this point, so I'm going to have to do the derivative of the top. So limit as x approaches -1 of 2x minus 1/2 dy dx, because I'm taking the derivative with respect to x, all over, and the derivative of the bottom is just going to be 6. And now, unless something bad happens with dy dx, which it can't, this will have to work out. So in here, when I put -1 into this, the numerator is going to approach -2 minus 1/2 times, and I have this point -1, 2, -1 squared minus 1/2 times 2 is 0. And the denominator approaches 6, so we end up at -2 over 6, which is equal to -1/3.